All right, ladies and gentlemen. Is this thing even on? That time was smooth. Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, how you guys doing today? If you don't know by now, I go by the name Benny Musa. I should probably start actually saying what I do, right? So, I do everything in the creative field, right? I'm for the most part creative director. A couple of the companies that I work with is definitely, of course, you probably know me for working with Red Autumn Studios, Red Autumn NYC, Red Autumn, Red Autumn Music Group. I also have my company Tone, the Tone Agency, which is pretty much a consultant firm for all creators out there for any type of genre of creativity that you're doing. We pretty much sit down with you and help you navigate your sort of your roadmap for you as a creative and what you're trying to do and how you want to scale. And of course, if you don't know me for that, you know me as being just a regular artist. Well, not a regular artist, if I don't toot my own horn. Nah, but a lot of you guys know me as an artist. That's how I started. And for me, it took a while to even understand what creative direction was. Over the years, I've had people sort of like put me onto it, or I've seen other people do it, and I kind of started saying, well, that's exactly what I do with all my stuff, right? And that's kind of how it started for me. But one of the things that I'm deciding to do these days is document everything, right? Because that's the most important part of as far as you being able to stamp what you are and then having the paperwork and everything to back it up, so to say. Because conversation without documentation means it never happened. So that's where I'm coming from when I say that. What am I doing here right now? So I'm actually about to shoot this content piece about basically I want to start these master classes. A lot of guys and girls like to ask me about what am I doing as far as like behind the boards. I've been responsible for a lot of your favorite mixes, and also recording some of your favorite songs. I won't get into that right now, but maybe I might drop a gem here and there, just letting you know what I've done exactly. For now, just want to make a general statement of I'm pretty much well-rounded when it comes to creativity, especially in the media aspect. Well, before I shoot this content piece, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of information. Sort of like I pretty much try to do this every day, where I pretty much just talk about something that I've learned, right? Like something that throughout my journey I've really just picked up on and just want to document it like a diary. You get me? So as I'm doing my thing, you get to watch that. Okay, that's way better. I didn't realize that the camera rig was actually in front of the lens the whole time when I was in the last video. But I'm probably not gonna fix that because it's not even about trying to have it perfect. I mean, as long as you put it out right, as long as the information gets to you. Before I actually start this video, I also want you guys to go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how y'all feel about it. If y'all want to hear anything from me, please let me know. I'm just doing this just to exercise my ability to use my voice for the most part. So the one thing I want to talk to you guys today about is putting a direction to your expansion. I want you guys to say this with me. Put direction to your expansion. Look to your neighbor and say, put direction to your expansion. I'm gonna start with my personal story because I don't want to talk to you. I just want to, I don't want to talk down to you or feel like I'm just giving you a bunch of information out of my ass, right? It's like, for me, when I, within this year, right, there's been a lot of money that has came in through the different things that I have going on. And, one of the big sort of subjects that was happening all 2020 as we kind of had to sit down with ourselves and you know, kind of look in those mirrors was financial literacy. And you know, what I took away from it most importantly was having multiple streams of income. And I'm proud to say that I was able to actually establish all those things, all those ways of being able to make money. Whether it goes, and you'll see this as I do this more, leather crafting, or getting into you know, clothing design. Of course, recognizing that I already have like 2 or 3 within the music industry, right? Which is like shooting music videos, mixing, mastering, recording, um, actually helping other engineers, you know, get on their feet, being able to teach the skill of engineering. So, you know, there was that, podcasting and product, you know, all these things that I was dabbling into were great. And what I was doing, which I now see in hindsight, excuse me, is I was planting seeds, right? But for me, there is that is only one type of expansion, which is horizontal expansion, meaning like spreading yourself outwards. And that's great for building a base. But the problem is, you know, when you hear, well, it's not necessarily a problem, but you have to be aware of what they would call spreading yourself too thin, right? I was able to expand myself to this place where I had all these multiple streams of income, but none of them were really moving upwards, right? Which, from my perspective, is the second way of expanding, you know? Upward expansion versus horizontal expansion. For me, what I'm realizing is it's plant a seed, yes, but you can't run from that seed either and not water it for it to sprout up, right? That's the point. If we use the metaphor of money trees, how does a tree grow? It needs love and attention, especially in the beginning. And I think I and a lot of other people who have been here before sometimes neglect certain seeds that we planted, thinking that we can that we're making progress by planting new seeds, instead of making progress that's moving upwards by watering those seeds, putting attention to those seeds before you move on to the next venture. And I had a very hard discussion with a good friend of mine. His name is Ross. Shout out to Ross. He's one of those guys that you have to, or women, you know, that you have to keep around you in order to check yourself, right? Because they're gonna give it to you straight, and you know, they're not gonna just be a yes man, and everybody needs that. Matter of fact, I would even go so far as to say is, if you're and me and Rel talk about this all the time, if you're the smartest person in the room, that's a problem, right? You have to find somebody that you perceive to be way ahead of you in what you're trying to do, and have a good relationship with them, so you can always check yourself and have that roadmap. So we had a hard conversation, and this is kind of where this subject came up, where I started to realize that I thought I was doing good by planting different seeds or different streams of income, but I wasn't taking my time to make sure that it was well taken care of and had some sort of stabilization to move upwards, right? Like, for example, for me, starting a company in leather goods, or just a brand in general, right? Like a lifestyle brand, that comes with, and you have to respect it, years and years of experience and trial and error to get to a place where every good that you make is efficient, right? We can't forget about that. We can't forget about the time it takes. Don't get me wrong. If you have money, you have options, and you also can cut down the time on a lot of stuff, because you can buy somebody else's time who put in the sweat equity to get to that that skill level, if you will. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I think, you know, from the mentality that we came from, which is like try to do it all yourself, it can help because you don't have to wait for anybody, but it can be detrimental because now you're spending time in trying to learn a new skill, all at the same time learning how to make a business out of it. That's, you know, super hard. And again, that's outward expansion, but you can't scale up because you're so busy trying to build the foundation, you know? So for me, that was a hard lesson in learning that you have to expand in both ways, or you have to really prioritize your time. It's not that you can't do everything that you ever wanted, but you have to really prioritize it, meaning make sure that one thing is actually doing well on its own. It's running by itself. You know, when you start a business, it's almost similar to having a child, right? Where it's like you have to make sure that in their early ages that they're taking care of themselves, that they're able to, you know, wash their skin, they're able to make food if they need to. That probably don't happen until they're like 10, 13 years old, right? And it's almost similar with a business where it's like, for example, we started a new studio all within the pandemic, right? With me and two of my other business partners, Rel and AP. And yeah, it was good that we started it, but I also see how we kind of neglected the fact that this thing has to be stable, right? I mean, there's more nuance to that than I'm saying, but it's definitely important to recognize that. So again, guys, that's pretty much my wrap up of today, and kind of what I learned. Again, I just go back and just reiterate what we were talking about before. You always have to check the direction of your expansion, right? You have upward expansion, and then you have horizontal expansion. Just always be mindful that when you're doing different things and you have all these streams of income that are possibilities, that you understand that they're only possibilities until you actually sit there and water those seeds, watch them get stable, and then move on to the next thing. Just always be mindful of that. That's the end of my video today. Please, if you like this content, please like, subscribe. You know, links in the bio to everything that I have going on. And I'll check y'all another day from now.